Yeah, yeah. It's some good games, man. Some good play. Some good playing going on, man. I like. You did say Arizona might be the team to beat, man. They just so tough.
Man, they big, what they did to Arkansas, man. It just showed, man, that they was just head and shoulders above them. A lot of people get on Calipari, and I'm one of the main ones that critique Calipari and stuff. They just didn't have the talent to run with Arizona, man. Arizona just a talented team, man. And I always liked them Arizona squads, man, going back to Richard Jefferson, Mike Bibby and all them, man. I always liked them Arizona teams under Lute Olson. After he, the program went away after him. I kind of not follow him as closely as I used to, but I always liked that Arizona program, man.
Miles Simon, remember Miles Simon?
Miles Simon.
Yeah. So
Mike Dickinson. Man, even going back way, going all the way back to Sean Elliott. What's my man name that ran with Khalid Reeves, Damon Stoudemire?
Yeah.
What I'm saying? I always liked that Arizona program, man. I always did.
Yeah. They look like that. Bryce James might lead them to a championship.
Yeah. I mean, he won't lead them, but he'll be on it. You know what I'm saying? He won't lead them. Yeah, he be on it though. But
they got the best betting odds to win the national championship right now.
Really?
They do?
Yeah, they are 250. They slightly overdue. Yeah.
My man, great boy, I love the fact, boy. You always give us the betting lines, boy. Man. I love that shit.
Oh, not just me. Jim also looks at that stuff
with the odds and shit, man.
Not just me. No, yeah, they up there. Yeah.
I wanted St. John's to get Duke though. I wanted them, man. Interest of full disclosure. I wanted St. John's to get them. But yeah, that was a good game though. That was a good game. I ain't seen all of it. Yeah, but I didn't a good game because I like Pitino. I like Rick Pitino. So yeah,
man, can Rick Pitino coach though? Everywhere you put him,
yes.
This dude,
yes.
Iona, where was he at? Iona,
man, when he was at Louisville, he was at Kentucky. You know what I mean? Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he does it. He does it.
I'm like,
hey, Jim, what's his name? Is he stepping down really, or is it just talk?
It's talk. He squashed that pretty quick. He said he hasn't made a decision, but then by people coming out and saying that, hey, the fact that the fact that he said he hasn't made a decision means he's gonna retire, and he was like, no, that ain't right. I mean, Bill Self's had in the last 2 seasons, he's had some heart issues that definitely have caused him to step away for a few games. This year, or was it last year? It was like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, I remember after the game he had to go to a hospital. Like after the game, yeah.
But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Bill retired. But he's right now he's saying, hey, don't throw me out yet.
Right.
About how old is Bill Self? He's not really all that old though, is he?
I mean, no, I don't think he's hit 70 yet. I mean,
I was about to say mid to late 60s. I was about to say.
Yeah. But Rick Pitino is in his early 70s, and he's still, he still look like he's going strong.
Yeah, that's true. Man, what getting back to Calipari, like I said, a lot of people, was dogging him out because they say it's the worst loss he ever had in a tournament and a lot of people was getting on him. And they got that guard down there, Darius.
Cuff, is that him?
Yeah, Darius. He got that shoe deal too. He got that shoe deal with Reebok.
What's that deal?
Clayton touched on it last week. Yeah, he got that shoe deal with Reebok. I don't know how much it is.
They're not revealing
the terms. Yeah, they ain't announced the terms of it, right?
They just saying it's historic.
Yep. Yeah, and it is. I never heard of it may have happened, but I never heard of a college player getting a shoe deal. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so he's going to carry that into the league. He's going to carry that shoe deal into the league.
Yeah. The report is he's the first college basketball player to get a major signature shoe deal while still in college. On the men's side. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He can I just had throughout this tournament, this is my first chance getting to see him though. I like him though. He looked real
nice.
He's nice.
He can play.
He drawing Iverson comparisons. Do y'all see that?
I haven't seen him enough. I
think I don't know about Iverson. You know.
Yeah.
What you think, Clay? Little premature.
I haven't seen him enough. That's why I asked y'all.
Right. I haven't seen him enough.
I haven't seen enough to draw that Iverson comparison though. But that's not a bad person to be compared to.
No, not at all. But that's a lot. But it might be the Reebok shoe deal too. That's putting that out in the atmosphere. You never know.
Yeah, but that's a lot of weight, man. You know what I mean? Just let them play ball, man.
Let them kids play.
Let them play ball, man. Man, don't start putting all these expectations on them. Man. Hold up. Speaking of shoe deals, y'all see the Wemby deal he just signed with Nike?
No. Let me look for it. No.
10-year, 750.
750 mil?
Yes. Look it up, Clayton, to make sure my number.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
10 years, 750. I say, man, are you serious, man?
Is that the largest one ever?
I don't know. I don't know. It seems like it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Nah, man, it's 100 million.
A year or just
100 million. So he has a long-term partnership with Nike, reported worth over 100 million that began during his professional career in France, they saying.
Oh, okay.
And transitioned into the NBA. As a centerpiece for the brand, he wears custom Nike footwear.
So look, because he got
the one you talking about is saying he got his shift to 750 million.
That's what you said. Yeah,
that's the one you said. That's 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah. That's what I said.
Hey, look, man. Man. Did everybody else? Did y'all hear what Wemby said though about about his status in the league? What y'all think about that?
Hey, I loved it personally.
Hey, right. The NBA's found his space. NBA's found his space. You know, now the NBA has somebody that wants to be the face, can step up and be the face, and you know, he's made for the part.
He actually putting in that work. You know what I mean? Like he not
right
at both ends. He putting in that work. I like that. You know what I mean? So that means that like he going to dominate. If you don't raise your game up, then he just going to roll right over you.
And he's a young dude.
Dude.
Very young.
And remember too, when he first came in the league, everybody was questioning his durability.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he was going to be able to last the season and keep playing at a high level because of his, his weight and his height and all that other stuff.
And they still questioning that to some degree.
Right. But I don't see him taking that Anthony Davis route at all. I don't see him taking the average big man route that's going on these days.
Well, you can tell the way like they managing his minutes and the way he is really into taking care of himself. You know what I mean? He taking initiative. Even before he came to the NBA, they was showing like how he stretch and how he work out and all this other stuff, right? So, they knew, he know that because he's a tall guy and big guys are susceptible to certain type of injuries. So they took a proactive approach to that, and they you know what I mean? He dominating playing like around 30 minutes a game.
Yeah,
I wish they did the same thing with Embiid, because I really did like Embiid when he first came to the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but when you think about it though, there's been so many big men that just try to come straight in and hook and just jump right into that rigorous NBA, you know what I mean, go from playing 30 games a year to playing over 80 something games a year. That's a lot on a body that's not real, especially a big man, a body that's not really fully developed like that. So this guy, by the time he get what he like 21, 22 now?
This is third year, right? This is third year.
This is third year. Oh, okay. Yeah, man. By the time he get to be about like 27 and all this other stuff, man.
Yeah. I like that he highlighted the defense. I liked what he said when they asked him about the MVP race. He said 50% of our game is on defense. So, and that's getting overlooked a lot of times, you know, when the MVP race is on. So he shined light on it now. You know, after he made that press conference, his betting odds jumped to win the MVP after he made that press conference. That's crazy. Yeah.
So that's a good question. Do you guys think he is number one? What would you put him number one this year?
MVP?
Yeah.
You know what I would, and I'm gonna say this. Jaylen Brown said that when he said he was the best two-way player in the league, he said, I'm the best two-way player in the league. Then Jaylen Brown said, but I wasn't talking about Wemby. Right, he said Wemby just different, man. He said, I'm not talking about. He said besides Wemby, you know what I mean. So that's high praise from somebody else who know the game and who plays like that. And so he gave an honest critique. I'm like, besides Wemby, you know. So yeah, man, this dude playing defense.
It's still hard to overlook what Jaylen Brown did in Tatum's absence.
Oh yeah,
it's hard to overlook that. Shea scoring, and Shea got good defense too. And it's still to me, it's still hard to overlook the Joker triple-double he averaged. It's hard to overlook that stuff.
Triple-double.
The thing about I'm glad you brought up the Joker, Clayton, because what's the name was just having this discussion. Nick Wright was just having this discussion a couple days ago, and he was saying, most times when you're putting up numbers like that, you know, it should be equated to winning, right? And he was saying that Russell Westbrook got killed for putting up triple doubles, but his team wasn't at the top of the standings. And they say the Joker should be held to that standard too. He got crazy stat lines, but it's really not transition to winning.
But Denver is winning.
You know what I'm saying?
But Denver is winning.
Where are they in the conference? Where are they ranked in the conference?
They 47 and 28.
No, I'm talking about like what 1, 2, 3, 4. Like where they?
I think they like third or fourth. I mean, but that's I don't say that's not winning. Like you know what I mean? Like just because he's averaging a triple double, they supposed to be in first place. Is that what Nick Wright is saying?
Yeah.
Because to me, that's crazy to me.
And you got Shea averaging over 30. They're at the top of the conference. Anybody say the West is a better conference. Shea averaging 30 plus on a team that's at the top of the conference. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? If you want to put Joker in the conversation, you know what I'm saying? Cool. I ain't got a problem with that. But it would be, for me, it would be Shea, it would be Jalen Green, and it would be Wemby. Not necessarily in that order, but they would be the top three. Yeah, they'd be.
Well, I tend to agree too, because the players you just mentioned, Tunk, are all two-way players, right?
Yeah.
And so, and their teams are higher than the Joker's team.
Yeah. And
you got two-way players who teams are seated higher. So that means that defense do mean something. When you know what I mean? You can't score 30 on one and then give up 31 on the other end, you know. So defense do mean something. Now, the Joker is dominant down there. That man, but
to me, the Celtics, the Thunder, the Spurs, they are all better defensive teams all around.
Yeah.
The whole team. It's not just, Shea plays good D, but it's not just him. It's not just Wemby. San Antonio plays great defense.
Well,
you know, Detroit plays great defense. Boston plays great defense. Jalen plays great defense too, but you know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Would the pushback be like a team go as their leaders go, right? So again, when you say that, like everybody, even when we look back in history, for the most part, that your alpha male, he go hard at both ends, and he, you know. So I
also think the Nuggets been handicapped all year with injuries too.
That's true. That's true. Because if Gordon was completely healthy, then that make the team look different.
And didn't Jamal Murray miss time this year?
Yeah. So they had, and
that's
I think
that's starting to be a norm with him, though. Jamal Murray. I say Jamal Murray. That's starting to be the norm with him, man. You can almost put him down for 15 to 20 games. He gonna miss due to some type of injury.
Yeah. So I mean, for them to be in the 4th position in the West, you know, they only they right there. I mean, everybody Thunder smoking everybody except the Spurs. You know, so yeah, I don't know if they losing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wouldn't call that losing, me personally.
No, I don't think he's. I don't think it was
losers. I call them losers. That's what I call them.
There you go. There you go.
I call them.
Look, everybody can't be in first place, and I'm sure it's been MVPs before in the league. Their team wasn't in first place.
Hey, the another stat that Wright brought up: the only players that average 30, that won 60 games or something like that. 30 points, 60 games, and it was another star that escapes me. But all them was what's his name? All them was MVP winners. I can't remember what the third category was, and I thought that was interesting. It was, and it wasn't even that many people. It wasn't. It might have been like 5 or 6 different players that did it. And I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, that was crazy.
To me, Nick Wright don't know basketball. He's a new age media guy that just he always, I can't say the word, I can't say the word. Yeah, he always do that on stats. He don't know basketball, man.
All his arguments are stats. It's just
that's all it is. It's stats.
Guy, man. And you say basketball, I say football too.
Football too. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a numbers guy, man. He always got a list top 12. We got a list top 7. It was crazy.
Yeah. Nick Wright. Okay.
I don't know. And with Nick Wright, it always seems like he have like an agenda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you do the stats and all that stuff, so you can make anybody look like, you know what I mean? You can take somebody off the bench and make them look like a potential Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Know, so that's what,
but they don't say they don't tell the whole story though.
It does not. So I don't know. But right now, I had to pick an MVP right now, man. Yeah, I just think I love Wemby. Y'all know that. But I just think San Antonio, they got a lot. They got a great team.
Hey, Clayton, you know what I love, man? That our beloved Mike, man, you know, the proprietor of this whole podcast.
You ain't lying.
He finally got on board, man. You know what I'm saying? He finally got on board, man.
Well, he was coming for our heads, wasn't he, talking? Wasn't he? Yes.
But in my defense, though, they must have heard what I was saying, because if his playing style is different from what he played in his first year. He playing closer to the basket now, and he playing better defense. So I mean, you gotta give it to him. You know,
I think it was an adjustment, Mike. You know what I mean? I think that first year he did adjust. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
He was playing good D last year.
Yeah,
he was blocking shots and shooting.
I
don't know, man. Yeah.
What we say, Clayton, Mike, you gotta check him out. We say,
you
Mike,
got to, man. Dude, the alien, man. Ain't never seen nothing like that.
Yeah, we like, Mike, you gotta check him out, man.
Much love to Ralph Sampson, but Ralph wasn't that, man. I don't care what nobody.
No. You know, everything evolved, right? Everything evolved, right? But I think Ralph could have been that, though. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, Tom.
Not to that degree. I'm not saying not to that degree, but Ralph could have been more of a open court type player instead of like a back to the basket type player that they try to turn him into. Because during those days, 7'4", you gotta get in there and bang. And I don't think Ralph, even though Ralph could do it, I don't think that was the best version of him. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this: you think Ralph could get out there from underneath the basket he has so much length that he can get out there and deflect shots. He can stay in front of guards. He can also go in the post. I mean, Wemby out there standing in front of guards at times.
No, that's tough, because Ralph has that long wingspan and stuff too. But so he probably would be able to contest. But as far as his footwork and things like that on the perimeter, you probably going to have people a little older than me speak on that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I seen Ralph in college. He was dominant. I seen him on Houston, but he ain't look like that.
Yeah, I think Ralph Sampson and Wemby are just the same player. They just playing in different eras, right?
Right. That's what I'm probably trying to say, Clayton. Yeah.
Ralph Sampson skill set. Like if you try to post Ralph Sampson up 7'4" against those any of those big guys, they was able to push Ralph off of that block, right? So Ralph, he tried to adjust his game and use the fact that he was athletic, and he just wore himself down. Now today, Wemby, you know what I mean? Like they not going. You don't have those power forwards in there that is pushing Wemby off of there. So Wemby gonna have a little bit more room to operate down in that paint. Then on top of that, it's not as physical as it was last year. Wemby is an athlete, and Ralph Sampson, in my opinion, was an athlete. It's just they just playing in two different eras.
Yeah.
And actually, I think Wemby is a better shooter, whereas Ralph Sampson was a better block holder.
Yes. I could give you that. Wemby can shoot better than Ralph Sampson.
Right. Yeah. That's where the difference is for me. That's why I think if you was going to take both of them in different eras, if you were to put Wemby in Ralph Sampson era, I don't think Wemby will be too successful.
Right.
If you were to put Ralph Sampson in this era, I don't know. Ralph Sampson may do it, but I don't see him being successful either.
No, that's perfectly said. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%.
Did you guys see that shot he hit to send them into the playoffs the other night? That game-winning shot. He had De'Aaron Fox out there on the three.
Yeah. Like no, I'm
let the clock run down.
He like no.
Jay to do the one dribble stop, pull up. Jay. Keep in mind he's 7 foot whatever.
7'5".
Yeah, that's what they say. I think he's taller than that. Huh?
Right. I see.
You're not gonna block that shot.
Right.
I mean, but did you see the move? What I'm saying, I ain't got Ralph taking that dude off the dribble like that, spraying up in the midi. No, I ain't got Ralph doing stuff like that, man. That's
exactly the same. We know, I mean, that's not getting to the way he was saying he would be doing exactly what Wemby's doing.
Wemby different, like that guy said. Wemby different. My man.
Terrence Davenport, you right, but I agree with him. It's just that. I think they just playing in different eras. I agree with you.
Definitely, but I think Wemby can play in that era because it's just everything that he can do
if they allow him to do it.
Yeah.
Listen, here again, a good basketball mind. I don't know no coach that's going to take this guy and his tools and his everything he can do and try to stifle that. That's crazy.
I think Clayton,
I don't understand that.
You give coaches way more credit, man, than they should have. It's been coaches that said, no, this is the style I'm playing, and they willing to go down with a ship that's burning than to an athlete. You give coaches way too much credit with that, Clayton. For sure.
Let me ask you a question.
Good coaches, Tom. Go ahead, man.
When you compare the two, who you think will win, a young Shaq or Wemby? Because you got to remember when Shaq first started, you wasn't stopping Shaq anywhere.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So
I think Wemby will foul Shaq out because he'll take him out from off that out underneath the basket. Yeah. Shaq gonna have to guard him and stay in front of him.
I think young Diesel, prime Diesel. I say that now. Yeah, we ain't seen Wemby prime yet. You know what I'm saying? We ain't seen Wemby prime yet. But
Wemby can't do nothing with Shaq on the block. Yeah. But Shaq got to guard him on the perimeter.
Right. But
I think
and you're right. And Shaq, and remember, Shaq did have problems with the center that could shoot. That's why Olajuwon in the beginning killed him in that final.
Chewed him up.
Early
because Olajuwon was pulling Shaq out that center. I mean, out that box and killing him.
early Shaq did have problems with in San Antonio with Dave Robinson. He had problems with Hakeem Olajuwon. He had problems with you know what I mean. But once he learned how to, you know, he played. Yes.
Shaq he could never deal with Dream.
No,
and that was the transition those cats had to deal with going from the NCAA to the pros. The way that game was played back in the 80s and 90s, down on the blocks for sure. That was you had to learn how to play that professional game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so much more physical than the college game, and the offenses were different. Yeah. It took longer.
Yeah, man. Let me see what now, all right. So Terrence Davenport said started because of how Europe developed their players, right? So the fact that, and like I said, and part of what it plays into Wemby's hand because of the way Europe developed their players, you know. So yeah, I think Wemby though, he fit perfectly into this era for real.
He does. He really does, man.
Yeah.
And he's going to lead. I think, you know what I mean, barring any type of injury or anything, I think he's going to be at the forefront of this new era coming, man. I think he's going to, and somebody said a face of the league earlier. I think it was Mann or Clayton. I'm not sure.
No, it was Mann.
Yeah, it was Mann saying the face of the league and stuff. Now, you know, when it's tried to be bestowed on a player who's not really mature enough to handle it, aka Ja Morant, or when it's another player who don't want it, Anthony Edwards. I think with Wemby, you know what I mean, he's accepting of it. You know what I'm saying? He wants it, and he can do it. You know what I mean?
Well, he's snatching it though, Tunk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's that's what you want to see with somebody who comes in and takes it. You know what I mean? That's what you want to see, because that means that he raising the bar as far as performance at both ends. And you know, how many times would they beat OKC? 3 out of 4 times?
3 out of 4. Yeah.
They're going into this playoff, man. They got the mental, you know what I mean? This gives you the mental edge, you know.
No matter what they say, and we all know playoffs is a different game, but still, you facing the team that then beat you 3 out of 4 times when you were healthy.
Yeah.
You were healthy. They beat you 3 out of 4 times. So you like, hey, man, this is something that we're going to have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to deal with.
Can y'all ever recall, though, like a championship team coming back next year and getting beat like that by, you know what I mean? Like the reigning championships coming back and getting beat by, dominated like that by another team. Can y'all think of an example?
I can't. I don't put too much weight on it, because sometimes champions come back with the same routine, you know, and maybe when the playoffs do start, the Thunder, you know what I mean? And like Clayton said, they've been crushing everybody but San. They've been crushing everybody but San. So, you know what I mean? That's somebody you got to take a look at and like, look, we got to be on our A game to beat them. I don't think it's the lack of, I don't think it's a chick in the armor when it comes to OKC. They just look at San Antonio like, man, this is a formidable opponent, and we got to be on our game to beat them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What about Milwaukee or when Milwaukee won their first championship?
Yeah, they came back the next year struggling, I think.
Yeah.
Well, see, when Milwaukee won, what was that? 2021 they won. Then Milwaukee kind of shot themselves in the foot because they won, and then they started making changes. They got rid of the coach after that. Yep. Then shortly after that, then they got rid of Holiday.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Then they
what's the name got hurt? What was it? Middleton, he got hurt.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about Middleton.
Yeah, Middleton got hurt. So yeah, it was a lot of factors that came into play.
It just shows that success is just fragile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you gotta remember, like you say, if OKC don't win it this year, it won't be no surprise. We ain't had no back-to-back champs. You know, it's been a different champion for the last 7 seasons. Yeah. So if they don't win it, it won't be like no big surprise like they didn't go back-to-back, you know. And if San Antonio does win, I don't think too many of us would be surprised. You know what I'm saying? They might be a little bit ahead of schedule, but you know what I mean? I don't think nobody would be too surprised.
I think the NBA is primed though for like a real dynasty, right? So when you see every year somebody else win, that's good for the different fan bases. But then somebody's like somebody gonna come along and then they gonna establish a dynasty and they might run off, you know what I mean, like 2 or 3.
But let me ask the brothers this. Let me ask the brothers this, right? Because I was thinking about this very thing. Do y'all think dynasties are good? See, in the NFL, it seems like it's always a different team, you know what I'm saying, winning it from year to year almost. You know what I mean? Seems that way. But do y'all think dynasties are good for the sport or they're not good for the sport?
I think dynasties are good. I think dynasties give everybody something to shoot for. You know what I mean? You got to raise the ball. Either you got to raise the ball or you got to wait for that dude to get old. You know what I mean? Until
everyone loves a hero and a villain. And a dynasty is going to be one of 2 things. It's going to be your team and it's going to be the hero or it's going to be the villain. And I'm with you, Mike. I think that helps the drama of the sport.
What you think, Clay?
Yeah, I think it's good for a minute, but then it runs its course. It's almost like, you know what I'm saying? Like after a while, the Patriots, like Jim's saying, they was just everybody's villain. Like New York Yankees, the evil empire, you know, stuff like that. But in the NBA, those dynasties, you're only going to get like a 2-3-peat is rare. The Lakers and the Bulls did it. And the Celtics probably did it years ago, but that's rare. Right. So in basketball, it's hard to have a dynasty like that. It's hard to go so many titles back to back. I don't necessarily think it's needed in basketball.
But I was saying like this though, Clay. I mean, I wasn't necessarily saying you got to run off back to back or 3 straight to really be a dynasty, so to speak. Look at like Golden State. Look at the Spurs, right? I know Golden State went back to back, but look at the Spurs. They had a dynasty and they never went back to back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just talking about like you know, I like the fact that you got teams. So like the NFL, you know what I mean, to a greater degree is more parity. You know what I mean? How they do that. But in the NBA, I wouldn't mind seeing a different team in it. You know what I mean? 2 different teams in it, you know what I mean, year to year, whatever like that. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think the Golden State Warriors dynasty, the Bulls dynasty, whoever else had a dynasty, do you think that grew the game? Or do you think the individual play grew the game?
I think the dynasties grow the game because like I said, as a team, you have to overcome that. You know what I mean? Like, all right. So when you think about only dynasty that had like that, I don't know. I just think it grows the game, and I think it's also is like it goes in cycles, right? For basketball, so we have a period of time in basketball where you'll have like every year you'll have a different championship, and that you know, and then you'll have a period of time where as though 2002 Lakers will come through and they just so dominant, or the Celtics. I mean you know, like the Celtics when they had their dynasty, they dominant. Constantly, I think you got to go back and forth. You know what I mean? And, you know, from team to team or a dynasty. I think you know because the fan base will get bored either way.
Right.
I mean, fans like us.
Yeah, I think the dynasty is good because the one thing that a dynasty brings to the especially the NBA, you're either gonna love them or you're gonna hate them. So true basketball fans, like the Bulls, like I hated the Bulls. I just wanted to see somebody beat the Bulls. You know what I'm saying? I hated that dynasty. But then I loved the Shaq and Kobe, the Lakers dynasty. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that's what drives the NBA and makes the NBA, you know, more watchable because either you want to see that team win or you want to see them lose.
But that's how it was with Golden State.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, with that dynasty they had with Golden State, and after they won their last one against Boston, it's kind of been, you know, I ain't gonna say downhill, but they've been in like the play-in game like 3 years or something like that. They'd be like in a play-in game, you know what I'm saying, to get in the playoffs or whatever. But you know, Steph 38, it's hard to believe, man. Steph 38, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So you know it's coming to an end, and let's even if they make a say like they trade for Giannis. Say like they trade for Giannis, right? You keep Steph, you might have to give up, definitely gonna have to give up some other players, you know, but does that bring it back though with Steph still getting older? Does that bring it back to prominence? You know what I mean?
So.
Yeah, right.
Right. I don't think so either. Right. I think Giannis going to Golden State is a missed opportunity for Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If he's trying to win now, I don't think Golden State's the spot to go to.
That's right.
I agree.
Because everybody in that West is young.
Yes.
All those teams is young right now running. And
you don't
Golden
want no
State
parts
has
of this
to rebuild.
kid.
Huh?
Yeah, and you don't want no parts of this kid when he be coming into his prime if you Giannis.
Right. I mean, like I said, it even look like Houston. Even though Houston
bullets in the chamber, you know what I'm saying? You can't just be Giannis and you know what I mean, in an older Steph. You need some more bullets in the chamber to go to war.
Right.
Yeah.
Your army has to be just as ready to run as you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And Giannis and like I said, like now, look at Houston. Houston is a prime example. Last year, we were calling Houston one of the top 4 teams in the league.
You're right.
They get Durant, and then it seems like they're going downhill just a little bit.
You're right.
That's the same thing that Giannis may run into going to these teams that doesn't fit with what he's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He got to make that fit. He got to know exactly what he's looking for, and he got to know exactly how to get it.
Right.
And I don't think going to the West is going to do that for Giannis.
You better pick right. I know that.
Right.
You better pick right.
Yeah.
Pick right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I'm sure right now Durant, when he first went to Houston, he was like, I could change these boys and we're gonna be at the top.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, that's the missing piece. He got to score. He can come and give you 25, 26 a night. That's all they need. But no, they poo-poo position. You can't poo-poo that. That's that's the big loss.
In the West, it ain't what you think is the missing piece. In the West, you got to put it all together. You know what I'm saying? You got,
And man, that's why I say like success is fragile, right? So after the playoffs last year, everybody was down on the kid. What's his name? Jalen Green, when he played for Houston, because he didn't really show up, right? But that was his first playoff experience. And so you would think that bringing in Kevin Durant over Jalen Green would elevate your team. But then you got to consider chemistry, though. You know, like how he fit with Şengün. How do Kevin Durant fit with Amen Thomas? You know what I mean? Everybody, we know what Kevin Durant brings to the table, but then like that unknown factor as far as like the chemistry.
And, man, and I never can stress enough, man. They should have tried to get a point guard, man. When Van Vliet went down with that injury, man, that just goes to show you that's your coach on the floor, man. You know what I mean? They needed somebody, and they never replaced them. They They said, well, we just going to run with what we got. And you got a lot of stuff, like you said, the chemistry, on-court chemistry as well. You know, the point guard is he's the glue out there for all of that. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's what I think that's going wrong in the NBA in the East. They're not doing chemistry. They're not working with the chemistry right now. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter who they're working with names. They doing the same thing, huh?
Who you talking about?
Just the East, period. I think the East is a lot of let's bring this name in and we can make it happen with this big name instead of looking at the chemistry that that the teams are running with. Like Houston, I mean, Houston had a great chemistry last year. They bring in the Kevin Durant, and like you said, you mess up the chemistry right now. You know what I'm saying? Same way I think with New York. New York had a great chemistry, and then they brought in, Cat. And now, we bring in Cat now, we're expecting to win. But is that chemistry really there with New York and Cat?
They went all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I'm about to say, Clayton, get in here, man. I see you.
They went all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals with Cat, man.
But you're still away. You're still away. And then look what they're doing this year.
They went to a 7-game series and lost to Indiana, right?
Yep.
Right.
Well,
I don't think the chemistry was affected.
I think what about coaching though? Like, all right, so you get rid of Thibodeau and you bring in, and you hoping that you bring in Mike Brown. You bring in Mike Brown instead of Thibodeau, and so now it's showing that the way I don't think they responded to Mike Brown the way they responded to Thibodeau last year.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so? I don't know. I don't know
about that.
I think you know, Thibodeau come across as like a drill sergeant type. You know, it's two different. You know what I mean? And there's more than one way to skin a cat. And I think Mike Brown is a more laid back type coach. But I think the longer the season go on, the more they have in the tank, the more they have in reserve. You know what I'm saying, to do something once the playoffs start. Because Mike Brown don't run them in the ground, his rotation, he goes deeper in his rotation and things like that. And I think that might help them. But I think the Knicks done hit a little low. They didn't flatline a little bit. You know,
but the Knicks third in the East right now.
Yeah.
48 and 26. You know, they didn't. I can't say that. And like you saying, I think Ted ran them guys in the ground. He didn't go deep into the bench.
Right.
I don't know. Sometimes when it first starting off, but as the years going on, I think they've adjusted to Mike Brown, and I think Mike Brown has adjusted to his team. Now, whether they get over the hump or not, just got to remember, Boston brought Tatum back. That's another team. You talk about chemistry, man, in the East. Damn, if the Celtics don't have great chemistry. What are we talking about, man? They plug and play because they got a great system that fit the personnel.
So they got a great system to fit the personnel, but the record proves what they're doing. What did they do last year? I mean, and this year we're talking, but that don't mean anything because. And look at Indiana. Indiana took it all for the East last year.
Yeah, but that main guy got hurt. But the Celtics #2 in the East.
Okay.
What are we talking about? And without Tatum all year, now he's back. I mean, and now Detroit that lost Cade Cunningham. I mean, hey.
But let me ask you a question. When the season started, did you pick Detroit to be #1 in the East?
Mike did.
No,
Mike did. I didn't pick anybody necessarily. I didn't have a pick. I thought the same teams would be in play.
Well, what was you going to say, Jim?
Yeah.
Well, no, I was jumping on that point about the Celtics and what Clayton was saying there. Detroit's in first place. I don't think Detroit's going to make it to the finals. I think the Celtics are coming out of the East.
Yeah. Celtics. I think they have a good system. You know what I mean? Because and then Jaylen Brown did hold. He held the fort down until Tatum got. You know what I mean?
Without question, without question, he did. Yeah.
But let me ask y'all this though, because at one point in time they was talking about getting rid of one of those guys, either Brown or Tatum, right? And it worked out the way it did, and it shows that both of those guys are valuable to that team. They almost made, in my opinion, like the Celtics organization almost made a monumental mistake. That you need, like the Celtics, although Brown held it down, I don't think they have a chance. Like if they was to face any of those teams in a championship, without Tatum, I don't think you stand a chance against the Spurs. Or anybody, whoever come out the West.
But what's was going to be the one traded. Jaylen was going to be the one traded. You know what I'm saying?
He was.
Showed in that finals that they when they beat Dallas, how important Jaylen, you know what I'm saying, is to that team. You know what I'm saying? The defense.
But let's not overlook the Celtics organization. If they would have made that move, I do believe they would have made that move, but they would have did something constructive for the team, and I think they still would have got some value. I think they would have did something because that organization, if they decided to trade him, they're doing it for a reason. And I don't think they just trade him and they fall off. I just don't think that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not like a point, you know what I mean, that I could argue. I'm just arguing like what I've seen them do. I mean, what I've seen Tatum do, what I've seen Brown do.
Doubt. No doubt.
And like I said, the chemistry between those, I think both of those guys are needed. And when you got somebody, the West they play defense good. You got to match that with two scorers, and you got to play defense good. And that's what the Celtics do.
And we might can question if both of them need it because we just watched the season this year with the personnel they had and the coaching that they had. Without Jason Tatum, they were right there.
Yeah, during the regular season, definitely. But I think once the playoffs started, Clayton, it might have been, it's different animal.
Yeah.
We don't know though. We don't know. We can get a chance to see.
That's why I say I'm not gonna argue that, because that's a hypothetical. You know what I mean? Yeah, but man. I think.
Now I don't know if they have the same success if Brown gone and Tatum was out there, because I don't think Tatum is the same two-way player that Brown is. He gives them so much on the defensive end, so it'll be interesting.
He's a lot more aggressive player than Tatum. I like Jaylen Brown's style a lot more. Even though Tatum might have the bag and the length and a better tray ball. I just like Jaylen, how he goes at it. I like how he strikes up. Yeah, I like how
he don't wait for the game to come to him. You know what I mean? Whereas though Brown just goes after it and gets, you know what I mean? But Tatum's so good, he don't really he could, it's almost like he turning it on when he
right. And he do too much, man. That heat check stuff. He do too much of that for me. He do too much of that heat check stuff, man. And I'm like, man, you 6'8" with a bag, man. You could get whatever shot you want, man. I think a lot of times he settled for that tray ball when he could get, better shots, man. And he don't attack the rim as much as Jaylen does either.
Have you been watching him since he's been back though?
I have not.
I've seen a game or two even back.
Isn't that Mazzulla's? I mean, that's his style, right? He leans on the three.
Yeah, he sure does. He does.
And that's what I think is going to be the interest. If Boston makes it to the final, and even if they're playing San Antonio or they're playing the Thunder, right? That's going to be the interesting matchup, right? Because those are the two of the top defensive teams. Mm-hmm. How do they adjust to Mazzulla's approach with the three? I think that'll be an interesting final if that's the final.
They shoot them, Jim, like you say, 1 through 5, man. They shoot it all the time. You know what I'm saying? They shoot it a bunch. So, like you say, that's his coaching. That's how he coach them. You know what I'm saying? Get that 3 ball up. So,
let me ask y'all this though: What if Tatum would have had that Kobe mentality and he wanted to show that he could do it without Brown? You know what I mean? And he'd have did like what Kobe did with Shaq, like try to push him out of there because he felt like he could, or it could have been Brown trying to push, like one of those guys trying to push the other guy out. And that's what I like about this team, or those two guys, because they didn't try to push the other guy out, or you didn't get nothing like passive aggressive statements from either one of those guys saying that they was the man. They just go out there and put in work. Both of them just put in, bring to the table what they bring to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Did y'all, what about I don't know, we spoke probably before we came on air though about Maryland Terp coach Brenda Freeze. Her exchange with I can't pronounce that young lady name. What's her name? I
don't know her name.
Yeah, I seen her name, but I wasn't. It had all consonants and no vowels in it. So I was like, I'm not even gonna try to. It had no vowels in the name. So I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. But man,
the young lady appreciated it. I heard her press conference.
Yeah,
the young lady said,
to be coached hard.
Yes. So
that just shows a level of maturity. Yep. And when you see a kid like that that's willing to accept that responsibility, you know what I mean? Like when you make a decision, all right, I want to play college basketball, I want to play pro basketball, and you accept everything that come with, you know what I mean, that with that, and knowing that you can't get there without a good coach like Brenda Freeze, that just show like not just her maturity, but her people's, like whoever prepared her for this moment. The right way.
If you look at that video of her pulling her aside without any context, it looks heated.
Yeah,
but I watched a breakdown. One of the YouTubers I follow is John Boy Media, and he always does some interesting things where he reads lips and breaks it down, and he did a breakdown on that, and everything she said to her was so positive and so focused and so she was building it. If you look at from the outside, it looks like she's tearing her down, But if you look at what she's saying to her, and after the fact, what they're both saying, she was building her up so tight that when she got back out there, she made a difference in that game. That it was a 180-degree turnaround after she basically
did
said,
that.
"Hey, you got to dial in. This is not about me. This is about you." And she got that young lady to go out there and make a big difference in that game.
She told the girl, like the person said in the chat, she told her, I believe in you.
Yeah.
And you got to believe in yourself. You know, this is on you. Yeah. She did. She was speaking that to that girl, man. That was fine.
You know what's interesting? That's a prime example of coaches knowing their players and know how to coach them. Brenda Freeze, she might not be able to get in every player face like that, be it building them up or otherwise. She might not be able to do that for every player on the team. So her knowing which players she can get in our face and say that to, you know what I'm saying? That's just a testament of, knowing your players and know how to motivate them. Some people, respond to a pat on the back better than a kick in the behind. Y'all know the saying.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, we were just saying this a few minutes ago about some coaches, especially in the past, had that old school mentality. You do it my way, and that's it. But good coaches know how to push the different buttons and what the buttons are on the different players.
Hey, since we speaking about coaches, what you guys think about the Syracuse women coach talking about the brackets and how she's always lining up with UConn? She started complaining about that.
Well, that's a legitimate beef right there, man. Cause that you can't be a juggernaut, man.
But you can't.
But hey, you think she has a legitimate beef with that though?
Yeah, no. I'm joking. Yeah,
I don't think she does either. See, Clayton, me and Clayton on the same page.
You can't come out and say it.
You know what? Let's go back to my point though of raising the bar, right? You know, like when UConn first came on board, it was Tennessee. And what was the guy?
Pat Summitt.
And Gino didn't complain about Pat Summitt. Gino just found a way to win and compete with Tennessee. And eventually Gino overcame and got above, Pat Summitt.
Right.
Pat Summitt was running through college basketball. She was running through everybody, but Gino ain't complaining. Gino went out and got, he went out and got some ballers and started to compete. Now look at which. So that coach. Where was she from? Syracuse.
Her main thing was this. Her main thing was this about this conversation was that she's trying to say the parity between men and women isn't there. The men's side of the bracketing and seeding isn't like the women's. The women's is territorial, and it's been territorial like that. Where the men, you could play on the East Coast and be put in a West bracket at any point in time. So the NCAA came out with the fact of that, hey, the reason that we're territorial is because you wasn't selling tickets at first. You know what I'm saying? Now we're filling stadiums, but we still got to keep it regional for the hot regional teams and for each team to stay in their region so we can sell tickets to the damn thing.
Yeah.
So, and my whole thing is, if you're complaining about not winning because you always in UConn's space, get some players that can beat UConn. That's it. Or stop being the 9th seed and playing UConn in the Sweet 16.
Have a better regular season.
Right.
Because Don Stanley didn't complain when she was down South Carolina. She basically put them on the map. They wasn't a juggernaut before she got down there. So
not at all.
Build the program.
Right.
If you're gonna have to play them at some time, you're gonna meet them.
Right.
Yeah. Who cares if it's in the championship or if it's in the second round? If you got to get over them to win, you got to get over them.
Yeah, but I think she got the mindset that it's possible. If she don't have to go that bracket, they might can get bumped out at some point. Also, I think for each round you go, I think the school gets more money, right?
That's true. Yeah. For every game you win, you know, that's
your school gets more money. Yeah,
your school get more money, but
you know how
still,
you
that
get
don't
beat Goliath.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, climb Mount Everest. If Yukon is your Mount Everest, prepare to climb them at the beginning of the year. Don't prepare to beat them when you get to the tournament. Like, oh well, I don't know if we can beat them or not. Prepare to beat them all the time. Be number one. That's what you got to do.
Just imagine if Rick Pitino had that mindset when he went to Iona. You know what I mean? When you go to Iona, you know you're not expected to win too much up there. This dude won the conference championship up there at Iona. You know, so
I'm not sure Rick Pitino ain't doing some criminal shit.
Hey, they say if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right?
Yeah,
Hey, Clayton, remember, it's only cheating if you get caught, though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just
only
saying,
cheating if you get caught.
I'm not knocking his hustle. I'm just saying, I'm not so sure he ain't doing some criminal shit. That's all.
Remember Calipari, when Calipari was at UMass, you know, he got UMass put on probation. He went to Kentucky, went to Memphis, Memphis put on probation.
And then Rick Pitino get into some violations
at Louisville. Louisville. Yeah, man. So like you say, hey man, that's what they do. That's what they do.
That's what they do. Yeah, I ain't knocking the hustle.
They was doing
still get jobs, though.
You know what I mean? They was doing NIL before NIL. Yeah.
Right, exactly. That's what I was saying. They had that market cornered already.
And they still get jobs. It's not like, you know, St. John's be like, well, we're not gonna bring you in here because of what you did at Louisville,
right?
You know, or the rumors surrounding you about Louisville. St. John's brought him in because they know he do what he do.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't tell me about it. You know,
just what I mean? Don't tell me about it.
Yeah,
and don't get caught.
Yeah,
and don't get caught. Once you get caught, I disassociate.
Because
don't get caught.
When St. John's brought in Chris Mullins, I was like, this is a good look for the school, and I thought Chris Mullins was going to be able to turn that program around. Now, because what'd you say, Clay?
No, go ahead.
Because he didn't turn the team around, that don't mean he's not a good coach. It just means that he is something that Rick Pitino do that he don't do, and that's you know what I mean. That's a definite.
And you know what Chris Mullin I think did. He kind of like brought respectability back. Former player coming back. You know what I'm saying, to be the coach. I think he brought respectability back. I just thought it was a short-term thing. Anyway, I ain't seen Chris Mullin being, you know what I mean, a life, you know what I mean, coaching them for 10, 15 years. But he made that job attractive again. They could go get a Pitino.
Let me ask you, out of all those top NBA players that went back to college and coaching college, is Penny the longest reigning?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know. Did Chris Mullin coach anywhere else? Like, did he coach before they gave him the job?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Because Jawan Howard, he lasted 3 years
at Michigan.
Yeah,
he did a good job.
I didn't think he lasted too long.
It was longer than that, but it wasn't long though. I thought it was long than that, but it wasn't long. But look, what's the guy? Y'all help me out. That coached Florida to the back-to-back championships.
Donovan.
They saying, man, that Carolina might be reaching out to him to come down to Chapel Hill. What y'all think about that?
I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah,
I heard that. He coaches at a small school now, ain't he? Clayton, he at a small school now.
He is?
Yeah, Billy Donovan. I didn't even know he was coaching, but they say he had a small school coaching now.
I think, because what he tried his hand at the NBA, Billy Donovan, after he left Florida, right?
Yeah, he came up to the NBA. Was it with Orlando?
I think it was Orlando.
Yeah, he came up to the NBA. And wait, Clayton, you looking him up? Where he coaching?
No, I'm not looking him up. No, I'm not looking him up.
Billy Donovan, though, I think that's a good look. Some people think that North Carolina should get they should bring in another alumni, right? But I don't know, like because Stackhouse been coaching. He's on Golden State's bench now, but he had a head coaching stint down Vanderbilt, and he had a head coaching stint somewhere else before Vanderbilt. And his name has come up, you know, like you say, they want to keep it in-house, you know what I mean, keep it former Tar Heel player and things like that. And but
I don't think his name is mentioned. I don't think people really expect him to be offered the job or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
I just looked up Billy Donovan. They said he's not coaching. He hasn't been coaching since 2020. It looks like.
Okay.
I mean, since the Bulls.
Since when, man?
Since the Bulls. His last stint was with the Bulls in 2020.
Oh, okay.
Damn, that long ago?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. Still spending that Florida championship money then.
Yeah, I bought that. What's that game a big contract though?
What'd you say?
Says Billy's I don't watch the Bulls. Says he's the head coach of the Bulls right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he in the NBA.
Billy Donovan?
Billy Donovan.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure though.
He coaching right now in the NBA?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. It says he's the coach of the Bulls right now. Yep.
Yeah, I thought so.
Look, man, you up there giving conflicting stories.
No, I said his last coaching was the Bulls. That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
That's what they had in 2020. Huh?
He ain't been coaching since 2020, man.
No, I said his last coaching, they said he was with the Bulls in 2020 He's still there.
To answer your question, man, about former NBA players that went back to coach, who had the longest tenure, is actually Jim Boeheim.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, that makes sense.
He was an NBA player. Yeah, him, then Larry Brown, then Reggie Theus.
No. He talking about that's currently coaching. Well,
I thought he said any NBA player who went back. I didn't know he was just meant current. I didn't know that.
I don't know, man. Was you talking about like current, like that's currently?
I was well, more or less like our era that we know grew up, like Penny Hardaway, Juwan Howard, those stars in the early 2000s, late 90s that we looked at now, like because we were discussing Mullen, right? Those stars that tried to transition over to coaching college basketball. Because it's hard being a coach in basketball, period. But then being the ex player that
Yeah, that's a real specific thing. You got to look at that. That's a real specific thing. Yeah,
Patrick, he went back to Georgetown for a few years. Clyde for a few years. Yeah, a lot of them guys went back to their alma maters to coach, and that's where Penny is now, still down in Memphis. So
is he still there?
Oh, is he still at Memphis?
He did. He did. I do know that he at Memphis. Hey, let me ask y'all this: how come it seemed like great players have a hard time being good coaches, though?
Because it's hard for them because it's hard. A lot of times we project, Mike. People project, and sometimes what we able to do, we can't make sense of a player not being able to do that per se. That's why role players are better coaches because they have a lot more understanding and stuff like that. Those superstars is just
most of the time the superstars are me first. A lot of times the superstars are the teams need them to be me. Like that's why Jordan made a terrible coach. You know what I'm saying? Because
Jordan never coached.
Well, no, he was a player coach. He was a player coach at Washington.
Man, he wasn't okay.
I think you don't think so. Y'all don't agree with that?
No, he wasn't a player coach. That's what I'm.
He brought Doug Collins in. He brought Doug Collins in.
No, one of the spots he was a player coach.
Magic Johnson was a coach, and Magic couldn't coach him.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, we knew Magic couldn't coach.
Yeah, and that's because of the standards so high. Because Magic Johnson is a team player. He wasn't me first. He was the distributor, assist man. But those guys have such high standards. And the way they see the game is the way they see the game. And it's hard for them to relate to a player that necessarily doesn't play on a high level or have that high IQ because they can't understand that necessarily. Right. They may want to understand it, but they can't. So it's hard. That's why those role players are such good players because they can actually relate to because you're going to need them role players more than the stars. The stars going to do what they do. Right. You're going to actually need those role players, and you need a coach that know how to relate and to get the best out of those guys.
Yeah. Prime example, Steve Kerr.
Yeah. Phil Jackson. Some
Byron Scott.
Pat Riley was a role player. Pat Riley.
Rudy Tomjanovich.
Yeah,
Rudy.
Yeah. So it's hard, man.
Yeah. Time. Welcome to the chat. Time said Michael Jordan was a general manager and an owner for the Charlotte Bobcats. Yeah. I think why y'all think as an owner though Mike ain't had no success?
Man, listen, I don't know. Cause Charlotte doing their thing right now. You guys been watching Charlotte?
Yeah, I mean
the Hornets.
Ball is playing. Ball is playing.
All of them, man.
Yeah, Ball is playing.
Knipple out there doing it, man. They balling. But Mike as a GM, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I thought he made a good pick with that one boy. What was his name? What was his name, man? Rozier or something?
Terry Rozier?
Was that him?
The guy who got caught up in the gambling scandal?
Was that him? I don't know. And I thought he made a good pick with Ball. I just think, a lot of that, man, ain't necessarily being the owner, man. It's like you got to have a good GM. So the thing is, did Mike have the relationships around the league? The good GMs want to work with the Hornets organization? Or did some of those guys just despise him and how great he was and dominant, didn't want to see him win no more? I mean, it could have been a lot of different things, and maybe Mike didn't have a great eye for talent,
But let's not forget, Jordan probably wasn't one of the greatest people to work with too now. Right. A lot of GMs didn't want to work with him.
Didn't want to work with him.
Right. Yeah.
Well, remember when Mike drafted that guy, Kwame Brown, right? They said basically, because of his standard and what he is used to, he kind of really just ruined that guy's career. That didn't allow him to develop the way some other coaches probably would have. So
and by Kwame Brown being Jordan's very first pick, right?
Right. Yeah.
That expectation, like if Jordan picking you number one, you must be something.
Yeah.
And didn't Kwame did he go to college or was he straight out of high school?
Straight out of high
school.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of pressure for a college player. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine somebody that's coming out of high school with that pressure?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, if you hear Kwame Brown tell the story, that wasn't Mike's pick. And he believes Mike sabotaged him in DC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
because Mike wanted Elton Brand or somebody. Elton Brand.
He did.
And the Wizards moved on Kwame, and Mike was mad about that. So Mike would come down to practice. He felt like Mike was sabotaging him.
That's 100% true. He wanted Elton Brand out of Duke at that number one. Because if you think he was going to go high school kid, you'd have went Tyson Chandler. He the one that had all the hype coming out of high school. Tyson Chandler guy. So you figure if you were going to go a high school guy, that's the guy you would pick.
Yeah.
You saying, but yeah. Yep.
Now Kwame don't speak bad about Mike, but he definitely felt like Mike didn't want him there, and he did things to sabotage him.
Hey, as good as Mike was as a basketball player, it looked like Mike is doing really well in the NASCAR circuit too. Now he done won 4 races already this year.
Damn, he be driving. Damn, I ain't
no, he owns the team. He owns the team.
No, Michael Jordan, he be driving and shit.
No, man.
Damn,
He owns the team. Yeah, he owned the team.
They done won 4 races already this year.
Yeah, he done won 3 of them.
That would have been an amazing.
No, he won 4. He won 4.
4 now?
Yeah, he got 4 now.
So we give Mike credit for that?
He went up against NASCAR and their owners to get them to change the rules.
Yeah.
As soon as they changed the rules, now they winning.
Yeah. Yep. He went to court. He went to court on it, Tom.
Yeah.
He went to court. He felt like it was unfair. All the money was staying at the top. The drivers wasn't getting enough money. Yada, yada, yada. They had a monopoly. Yeah, he went to court and fought that.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, I don't know, man.
Do you guys think that
opportunity to praise Michael Jordan on the show? I know we never miss an opportunity to praise Michael Jordan on the show.
There you go.
My juice was cold this morning, boy. It must be Michael Jordan. My juice was cold this morning, boy. It must be Michael Jordan, boy. I'm telling you.
We don't miss an opportunity to praise Mike and drag LeBron.
That's right, Clay. You absolutely right, brother. That's right.
Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead, Jim. You were saying something, Jim.
That's right.
I was just going to ask a quick, because we were talking about stars and coaching, and we got off onto Mike being a GM. Do you guys? I think there's a lot of good examples of stars being better GMs than coaches, right? And I'm thinking Jerry West and Danny Ainge and Mars.
Kevin McHale.
Let's not forget Larry Bird.
And Larry Bird.
When he was with Indiana, he had them as a player. I mean, what's it come?
And Larry Bird was an excellent coach too. He coached Reggie Miller and them.
In the final.
But I'm even thinking across sports, like Ozzie Newsome.
He was a good GM. The guy Lynch in San Francisco.
You know what? I was just thinking him, Clay. I was thinking him.
So now the pressure on y'all go, Tom.
Hey, I don't know if they're gonna give him creative control though. I don't know if he's ready for that yet, because I don't think you can be a broadcaster and have control of a team at the same time. So
don't let Clayton get away with that statement that he just made. Man.
Listen, I only made the statement because I saw what he said in the comments.
But hey, so do Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs racing too.
There you go.
The racing team too.
Joe Gibbs.
Tom did bring up Brad Daugherty. Brad Daugherty was in racing before Michael Jordan, though, I think.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Yeah, I think Brooke was in the.
As soon as he retired, I think he went to NASCAR when he retired.
Exactly, man. As soon as he
I remember Jordan though. Not long after he retired, he was into motorcycle racing.
Oh wow!
I think I saw that too, Jim. Yeah.
He was doing that. He was doing
He was doing that ownership thing.
And he was the owner over there. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That Moto GT.
Yeah.
Because he had the Carolina colors. His bike was the Carolina colors. Hey, man on the front. Yeah.
I'm telling you now, don't be surprised if the PGA adds Michael Jordan's golf course to their thing. Don't be surprised, because this golf course is number one. Like we were trying last year and even this year, we were trying to get a tee time on there. They book up in minutes for the whole year. So but it's a beautiful course. Beautiful.
It's only a matter of time. LeBron's gonna get his course out there.
Where is it, man?
LeBron?
Man, where is it? Where the golf course at, man?
Carolina. Down in Carolina.
Okay.
But it's beautiful though. And it's like, that's the thing about a lot of superstars. Some superstars are really smart with their stardom. You know what I'm saying? We be talking about them long after they retire. You know what I'm saying? And then you got some superstars. I'm gonna name one name. Y'all can get on me if y'all want to. Tiger Woods, prime example.
Oh yeah.
When we talk about Tiger Woods now, we even talk about what he did in the past, or he turning cars and getting car crashes and getting drunk. That's what we talking about Tiger right now. So it's just some of these superstars, man, know how to handle the retirement and that next level, and then you got some that just don't, man.
I wonder what he was under the influence of, because he
Oh,
blew a 0-0.
Right.
He wouldn't take the P test.
Right.
Okay.
So you know what that tells me, right? It tells me he knew exactly what mints to take, but he was like, nah, I can't pass that urine though.
I don't think he had no alcohol in the system. I think it was some type of drugs and stuff, because he on medication.
Yeah.
He had all them surgeries.
Well, when in his first DUI, it was his system came back with painkillers and other medications,
all that stuff,
and like Ambien or whatever other sleep. So I think he knew that, hey, I've been on these painkillers. I think he's got a painkiller problem.
A prescription, yeah, I think he probably
He might be addicted to him. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Tiger, I can't blame Tiger Woods for not taking a peek. I blew the breathalyzer, right?
Right.
But I'm not. If I do something, I'm not going to do that's your job to find me guilty of something. I'm not going to be trying to, say, all right.
Right.
Yeah, so what if you give them, you giving them blood samples and urine samples and stuff like that, and they find something in there? That's a lawyer wouldn't advise you to do that.
Exactly.
Right. That's probably why he didn't do it. He probably talked to a lawyer, and the lawyer's like, no, don't do it. You ain't drink no alcohol, but like we said, you do got some drugs in your system, so let them find that out. Don't volunteer the shit.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword because these states have set up a system where if you refuse, they can automatically. It's called implied consent. They automatically they suspend your license if you refuse.
Right.
Well,
and one of the reasons, especially in the state of Maryland, and the reason they did do that is because marijuana now is legal in most states. Yeah. And a breathalyzer doesn't do anything for marijuana, but if you do have marijuana in your system, it's still considered a DUI.
Yeah.
Or controlled substance, driving under the influence.
Controlled substance, yeah.
So that's the key to it now. They want to be able to test for marijuana as well as alcohol. And the breathalyzer only scans alcohol. So
also, I think a bigger scandal could come from it if he did submit blood or took that test, because they might find steroids in his system as well, human growth and stuff. Because it's been rumored that he was on that kind of stuff too, to get big and bulky like that.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that would be a huge scandal. Tiger hasn't played in 2 years now?
Right.
I'm not saying they wouldn't try to bring it up. That's why he had but like you say, he hasn't been like on tour winning lately, like man just said. So
but it'll give validation to those rumors, and now you questioning all his major championships, all the wins. It'd be a bigger scandal.
Yeah. I guess. But what's the name, man? Like man was talking about, y'all all say he had them surgeries. Jim spoke on it. Taking something like
And then let me tell you this, because I play golf a lot. And the stronger you are, that don't mean shit. Golf is one of those sports that strength does not mean nothing. Matter of fact, strength can hurt you.
What about on your drive? It'll help that, right?
You still got to hit it straight.
Man, you're right. You got to hit it straight. But man, I'm going to ask you this, though. Remember they was talking about how violent his swing was and how fast his club head speed and all this kind of stuff. You look at Brooks Koepka, he big now. He got all these new golfers hitting the gym, lifting weights and that kind of stuff. So I understand the strength don't necessarily make you better, but for him to generate that kind of club head speed, gotta be strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
the age-old quote is you drive for show, you putt for dough.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if he's doing steroids and his game is muscling up and his game is great because of steroids in the game of golf, that's tough. I'm just saying it can happen. It can happen.
But performance enhancement is not necessarily just strength. It also can give you can take something that give you razor focus. Like these kids take it in college. I forget what it's called, but it'll give them crazy focus and things of this nature. So it's not Adderall. Just necessarily
Adderall.
That's Adderall, right? Adderall. Right. It's stuff like that, man, that you can take and it'll lock you in. So it's all kinds of things. It ain't just for strength. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, definitely. It ain't just for strength. But the game of golf is predicated on how you make one club hit a ball.
Yeah.
That's the game of golf. So
mechanics.
Right. And mechanics or your swing and everything else. So, I mean, I can see him, and I wouldn't blame him if he's taking steroids for his back. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't necessarily say that's really affecting his gameplay. It might affect him mentally.
Endurance, mentally.
Right.
And endurance.
It might affect him mentally.
Too.
Right. But
remember that one tournament? He had a torn MCL, but he finished the tournament and won it.
Right. But
come on, you know how hard that is, man.
Yeah. But Tiger hasn't. What Tiger's won maybe 4 tournaments since that car accident that really put him out.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about before the accidents and stuff. One of the later majors. He had to finish on the next day, but he tore his MCL.
So Clayton, you think he's taking something? You think he's taking steroids?
When there's smoke, there's fire. Like if the report come out and it get leaked, I gotta tend to believe it. It ain't coming from nowhere.
Hold up. Why would you tend to believe it just because somebody printed it? Why would you lean on that side where it's believable? Why would you do that?
Because when you start printing stuff in publications and stuff, you leave yourself and the magazine you writing for susceptible to lawsuit and all kinds of stuff.
All you gotta do is say, I got an anonymous tip. That's all you gotta do. I can get on here right now and say, I got an anonymous tip.
Right. But Tiger can, but if it's absolute,
do whatever, and they like, man, what's your source? It's anonymous. You
right, but it's
well, damn, man, I gotta believe you because you know what I'm saying. You on this platform.
I think the traction comes because he refused the test.
Mm-hmm.
That's where. Because I agree with you 100%, Tunk, that just because somebody said it doesn't mean it's true until he has to take a test or is asked to take a test and he says, no, I'm not going to do that. Then the questions start to compound.
And let's be serious about it. Let's look at the accident. I mean, he literally flipped the car over.
Man, y'all see the undercarriage of that car? That damn thing was clean as hell. Man, y'all see the undercarriage of that thing? Man, you can eat off that thing, man. I say, you must keep that damn car in the living room or something.
Like, hold on. Like, I have been sober, and unfortunately, I have been drunk sometime. I have never flipped the car over like that.
Man,
so you know, you got circumstances to be like, what would make Tiger flip that car like that?
Man, I'm impressed with the undercarriage. That was clean.
You're right, the picture, and I didn't think about it until you just said that. And that's because that undercarriage was cleaner than the top of my car.
Right.
All he did, I think he just nipped the truck and it flipped it. But Tunk, another reason, Tunk, why I would lean into it is also because it's recovery time. Like he was getting injuries, but he was recovering so fast. And you know, stuff like that, a lot of times PEDs and stuff help you with that.
And in the world we in today, which you know what I'm saying, where everybody have a platform and this social media thing, and everybody can get any type of word out and start anything. I'm always skeptical of these so-called.
This was before the social media era when these rumors came out about him.
No. I'm talking about anytime when you got a platform, just like in the NFL, they say, "Oh, anonymous source." It could be the guy in there sweeping the floor. I got an anonymous source saying that this coach and this player is at each other or they was fighting. Man, I don't believe none of that stuff, man. Just because you out in the atmosphere and in the house, that don't mean it's true.
And just like you said, just like we're talking about, though, let's remember when they were talking about that stuff about Tiger Woods, he was at the top of the game, and he was breaking all types of records and stuff. And there was a lot of golfers that did not want to see Tiger succeed.
So they
were presenting him.
He had to be cheating. He had to be cheating then. If he was at the top of the sport spanking them, he had to be using something illegal and to beat them. So it had to be something he was using. I mean, I don't buy it. I wasn't buying it then. I ain't buying it now. If you thought he was cheating, oh well. You ain't never proved it. Yeah, so
I'm just saying I don't put it. I'm just saying I don't put it past them, and I'm not going to dismiss it. It don't matter to me either way. But
remember the Serena the Williams sisters. Remember when they first jumped up on board and everything? They was talking about how they might have been using performance enhancing drugs and stuff. They were so strong.
They had to been mad because they was spanking everybody. So they had to be.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they was spanking everybody.
You got
Venus. I don't put that on. Serena, I'm gonna say this to you guys. If she comes back at her age, now she's already been known to take a drug now for her body. You really don't think that she would lean into something to enhance her physique and to play better and play at the top of her game? She getting ready to try to come back again, but she's been known, she's advertising this weight loss shit. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm on board with you, Clayton. She got to be. Her whole career, she had to been cheating.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm not going to just dismiss it.
No, don't dismiss it. It had to be that she was going to be
let me ask you guys a question.
I'm saying that.
It seems like it seems like we're going definitely down this rabbit hole. So let me ask you a question. If there's a drug that can make you feel better, but it's not illegal, okay, would we criticize it? I mean, if it's not illegal, you do it. You know, you do every sport. You do what you got to do to get that edge. It's happened since the beginning of sports,
right?
So if they find something like like they say, all right, you can't use steroids, then somebody makes something else up.
Let's just say PEDs, performance enhancement.
Okay,
it ain't just steroids.
Go ahead. And then somebody makes something else up. Okay, but we remember first it was steroids. Then somebody made PEDs, and then they said, okay, now PEDs is bad. You know what I'm saying? Right. So there's going to always be that athlete that's going to try to get that edge because either they're getting older, they have injuries, or somebody's better now. They're trying to get that upper hand, and if it's legal, it's legal.
Victor Conti was a millionaire 100 times over. That's why, because he came up with the cream and the clear, and A-Rod and all them Olympic sprinters was going to him. And he picked to so many different athletes.
Alco.
Yeah.
That's
so I mean, I can't necessarily. I don't want to necessarily blame the athletes for trying to figure out an edge because Father Time is undefeated. So the longer that you're in, somebody's going to come up there and try to be better.
Well, let's be clear. I'm not blaming those guys. I'm just saying what kind of scandal it could be. If he took that test, something show up, and then what the media going to do? I'm not blaming nobody for nothing.
If he
I don't think Tiger's taking performance enhancing drugs. I think he's doing other stuff.
Okay, well, look, that's why I said that's why I like what Tom said, right? I don't what he said. Barry Bonds. Take for instance Barry Bonds, like all the rumors that was surrounding Barry Bonds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do y'all think he should have tried to take a test to prove he was innocent, or just let people think what they think?
He never failed the
steroids.
He never failed the drug test.
He never failed a test, but Barry wasn't innocent. But Barry was great. Right. He was great before the PEDs. Well, so Barry got a leg to stand on.
Was good before the allegations too.
Absolutely, I'm not saying he wasn't. Absolutely, he's a great golfer.
Let's be clear though. The Barry Bonds for Pittsburgh was not the Barry Bonds of San Francisco.
I think he was better.
That's not what he said. He said he was a Hall of Famer before that.
He was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he was a Hall of Famer before that.
You think he was a Hall of Famer before? I mean, in Pittsburgh?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think so.
About a 40-40 man. Come on, man. Golden Glover, all this stuff. Huh?
I think he was on his way, man. But I think, like, if anything, what was like the current condition in Major League Baseball, he probably felt like he needed to keep up with those guys. You know what I mean? But on a level playing field, I think he was definitely on his way.
Man, when you get Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, who wasn't half the player that he was, and they getting all these accolades and all this other stuff, and they wasn't half the player he was. Yep. And he's like, okay, so just imagine if I took the same thing they taking, and just see how, and you saw what happened. When he took the same thing, see how he shot past him. And then the pitches he was facing, they were using him as well. The pitches he was hitting home runs off of, they was taking it. And man, that whole look, man, y'all get me in my wheelhouse now. That whole Mitchell report, right? We about to switch subjects real quick. That whole Mitchell report had all these players on it, as well as Big Papi. Now he's my poster child for this because everybody loved Big Papi because he tells jokes and he's funny. Right? He was in the Mitchell report. He's in the Hall of Fame. Pudge Rodriguez, he was in the Mitchell report, but we like Pudge, so he's in the Hall of Fame. Man, it's just so hypocritical, man. And they got them writers voting guys in. That's how they get in, which I think that's a travesty in itself. Like these guys are above reproach, and they got so much integrity that they won't hold grudges and they won't keep people out due to some type of personal vendetta. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. That them guys are in and Barry Bonds isn't. It's ridiculous. Not only Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, A-Rod. them dudes, man, belong Pete Rose, even though he was up there gambling and shit, he belong in there too. You know what I'm saying? But all these writers, all these baseball tourists, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we can't let them in the game.
Well, you got guys who keeping them out who can't even play the sport or
They
do with those guys.
Or never even played the sport.
Right. Exactly.
And to Tom, we know that he used PEDs. What we saying is, before he started his first 13 seasons, the dude had 411 home runs.
Yep.
1,900 hits, 13 something walks.
Yep.
That was already Hall of Fame. Already.
Probably about 300 steals too. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Yes. No, that's before.
Yeah, that's before.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Barry's biggest problem was that the writers hated him because he was a dick to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
he was antagonistic towards the media. I think that's the biggest reason.
It is, Jim. It is, Jim. That's what it is. And Big Pop, because he's funny and he tells jokes and all that. Oh, we gotta let Big Pop in. He was in the Mitchell Report. You understand? He was in the Mitchell Report. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. But fellas, I gotta go, man. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good day, man.
All right, Tunk.
Have a good one, Tunk.
Yeah, man. I just think that. Yeah, I'm not. And to Tom point, I'm not making excuses for Barry Bonds.
He's still on.
Yeah, I'm not making excuses or for Barry Bonds or Tiger Woods or none of those guys, man. I just think that, my point is, if you accuse them of something, like if those guys accuse Barry Bonds, Tiger Woods, or Serena, prove it. You know what I mean? But don't, I'm not even. I even like the guy who what's the guy that raced the bikes and stuff like that? What was the guy?
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong.
I mean,
they took everything away from him.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Lance Armstrong was.
Yeah, they stripped Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
But see, when it comes to voting people into a Hall of Fame, my opinion is this: the Hall of Fame should be voted on by people that actually play the sport. You know what I'm saying? Right, not sports writers. Because the only thing sports writers are doing is talking about what they saw. People that play the sport and that's in it, you know what I'm saying? Even you can have a vote but not be in it. Because you know what it took to play the game. Even if Barry Bonds took steroids and whatever, he still got to make contact with the ball. That is so hard to do with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to do that, but to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball is extremely hard.
Man, I could hit a 50-mile-an-hour fastball.
Right. Yeah, it's not easy.
Basketball. I don't care who they put in front of you. You still got to put the ball in the basket.
Well,
Football,
my fault, man. I was listening to Kwame, right? And Kwame, what's his name? Kwame Brown or something? Yeah. And he was saying that, it's cool to talk about professional athletes, baseball, basketball, football, as a writer or whatever, even as a fan. But you got to keep in mind that these guys are elite, and you gotta have a certain amount of respect for what they do. You know what I mean?
Just to get there.
Yeah, just to get there. So just like if we was talking, we couldn't criticize a lawyer or a doctor, that knowing that the type of what they had to do to get to where they are. So it should be the same thing for elite athletes, that you got to have a certain amount of respect for what they do.
Because I can guarantee you that there will probably be no coach, maybe one or two coaches in football that would not vote Belichick into the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Because they still know, even let's say he did do the Spygate and everything. The still accomplishments that he had over his whole football career still makes him a great coach. And that's what the Hall of Fame of every sport is. The greatness of the people that's in it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't hold Deflategate against them. I don't hold Spygate against them. Because like you said, that's too. These guys was in the sports in that sport for years, man. They had all that success. If they spying on you, and if that's how they win, to stop them from spying.
Look, what they do now. Everybody covers their mouth now when they're talking. You know, when they're calling in the play. Why do they do that? Because other people are watching what they say. So I just, like I said, I just think it's very hypocritical of, you know, any Hall of Fame, baseball, basketball, football, or whatever, that decide that have people that doesn't play the game voting people in.
If I'm a sports writer with a vote, I'm going and I'm interviewing players that played, and I'm gonna let those guys decide my vote for me. Right. I'm gonna get expert opinion on it. I'm gonna get the intricacy. I'm gonna really talk to guys and tell me why this guy's great. It's not gonna be based on this person won this many championships. I'm not doing all that. I'm going to talk to the players that played against them in this era and get the real, if I can, and let them decide my vote.
Yeah, let me ask you a question because I don't know this. How do they do the Hockey Hall of Fame?
That's a good question. I think they've got a selection committee like the NFL does, but I don't know who has the final vote.
Is it made up of writers, or is it made up of players, or is it made up of Hall of Famers that's already in?
So I think I'm gonna have to look that up because I think it's like the NFL where they've got a committee, right? Which is a combination of, like, the NFL's committee, isn't it ex-players and coaches and
NFL is the people that's already in the Hall of Fame get a vote.
Right. Some
sports writers get a vote.
Right.
Yeah. And then some coaches get a vote.
Right.
Yeah. First, I want to thank Terrence Davenport, man. He just said he appreciate the you know the show today, and he said he subscribed. So I just wanted to hurry up and say that hopefully before he checked out.
Tom said something about the looks like he said something about the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Oh, let me see what Tom said. Yeah, Hockey Hall of Fame is selected by 18 secret valid participants. Yeah, I ain't know nothing, but I don't really follow hockey.
Yeah.
But I mean, we talking about hockey, but we don't really like on here. We don't like disrespect. You know what I mean? We always keep in mind that like these guys is at the top of their profession, and so you know you always acknowledge that. Like so, yeah. So
it's not easy.
Yeah, no. Tom Brady wasn't, you know, I didn't really dig Tom Brady until he went down to Tampa and did, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, man. So you got to give, when you see people perform like that for all those years, I mean, you don't have no choice but to just give them their props. Just like.
And when you really look at professional sports, let's remember this: out of everybody that plays professional sports in high school, 1% of the high school players make the college. In college, 1% of the college players make it to the pros. And in the pros is 1% of them that actually becomes top-notch Hall of Famers. So you got to give everybody their props.
It might even be less than that now, man, that the game is like international. Because I know they used to say, you know what I mean? Now you got guys coming from Australia, Europe, and, you know, all these other different countries, man, Russia and all this other. So
to get paid to play the sport is good enough for most people. But then when you're elite at that, you know, that Hall of Fame status should be there regardless of what somebody thinks of how you got there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody, Cam Neely. Jim, you familiar with Cam Neely?
He played for the Chicago Red Wings.
Oh, okay.
Not Red Wings. So Detroit was Red Wings. Sorry, the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh, okay.
No, wait, Cam Neely. Sorry, I'm getting my hockey players mixed up. Cam was with the Bruins. Help me out, Tom. Cam was with the Bruins, right?
Yeah.
I'll look that up. I don't know why.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. My favorite hockey person was always Gretzky. So.
Yeah.
Anybody other than Gretzky in the 80s and 90s, I couldn't tell you nothing about hockey other than Gretzky.
Just because Gretzky and what's the other guy, Lemieux, right? They was
Pittsburgh like and LA. Yep.
Yeah, they was out there. That's all the reason why I knew about them guys.
Yeah, Cam Neely was with the Bruins. He was drafted by Vancouver, but played the majority with the Boston Bruins. Yeah.
And but see, that's the thing that I'm talking about. Like, even if you don't know the sport and you know the name of these great players in the sports, you know, Barry Bonds registers everywhere. You can say Barry Bonds and people will tell you exactly who he was, what he did, and how he did it. That's a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? In my book, that is a Hall of Famer right there. So when they deny people with Hall of Fame status because of their personal feelings, that to me makes the Hall of Fame just not a real spot. It just means it's a political or a social thing that somebody wants to govern over so they can just play the game. I mean, so they can have something to talk about.
Yeah.
I was glad to see, Time, that Cam Neely did finally get a Stanley Cup before he retired. Just a shout out to Time there. But yeah. To your point, I remember back in the I think it was back in the 80s, they had that cartoon with what was it, Bo and Wayne Gretzky and
yeah, I know, I remember that you talk. Saturday morning cartoons, I remember that.
Who else was in that group, right? It was it
was a basketball player. Who was the basketball player?
It wasn't Mike. Was it Mike?
No, it wasn't Mike.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was Mike.
Was it Magic?
I don't know.
Was it Larry? I forget. It was, but yeah, the superstars always get the media love, and you know who they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Hey, before we get out of here, I'm curious who you guys like in the Final Four, and who do you guys think is going to win?
Hey, my bad, I was wrong. It was Gretzky, Jordan, and Bo.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I thought Jordan was in there.
Yeah, Gretzky, Jordan, and Bo.
Yeah, I thought Jordan was in there with. Yeah, man, like. For the men's, I think Arizona going to take it in for the men's, and for the women, man, it's like some people saying that Connecticut women not really, they didn't really play anybody this year, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Y'all know I'm a Duke fan, so I'm voting for Duke. But unfortunately, in my brackets, I picked Michigan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
I think if Duke beat UConn today, they're going to the championship. But
I'd like a Duke Arizona. That'd be fun.
Everybody like Arizona and Duke. I'm not sleeping on Duke. I'm still not. As much as Arizona, the team that beat, I'm not sleeping on Duke. On the women's side, I'm running UCLA back.
You running back with UCLA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm running back with UCLA. I don't think no team in the country can beat UConn except them, because they got the bigs to do it. Yeah.
On the women's side, I'm secretly rooting for the Kansas Jayhawks. They got no shot in hell, but I'm being a homer.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you. So yeah, man. It's gonna be a tough one for UConn today. They gotta play Notre Dame today.
Hey, did you see the young lady that transferred from Notre Dame to TCU?
Yeah, Olivia Miles.
Yeah, she balled, lad. She balled yesterday.
She did good. Yep, she did good.
Yeah. What year is Olivia Miles in, man? Because I can't wait to see her in the WNBA.
She's a senior, I think.
I think she's a senior now.
Okay, yeah.
They play South Carolina Monday night.
That's gonna be a barn burner right there, man.
And then Texas. I ain't know which con was still there. Madison, the girl Madison. What's her last name? For Texas.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
I didn't know she was still there. She looked good yesterday too. Yeah. But I ain't sleeping on Duke and the men's. I'm not sleeping on. I haven't watched, so I don't know. But
you can't go. They balling out too, though. You can't go wrong with Arizona or Duke for real.
Didn't Duke just beat St. John or something?
Yeah, they knocked my boy out of there. Yeah,
so
man.
I ain't sleeping on Duke.
Well, what do y'all think about? And then we spoke about, before we get out, we spoke about coaching and keeping it in house, man. This guy that took over for Duke, man, he can coach. I mean, he's just not rolling the ball out there. You know what I mean? This dude is coaching. So
it looks that way.
Yeah, but you also got to remember too that Duke pedigree is coming along great. I mean, how you get both Boozer twins? I mean, Boozer children to come in on the same year. I mean, these guys, they're recruiting well, but dude, these kids wanting to go to Duke. And that's what's keeping this program alive, man. These kids are wanting to go there.
Yeah.
So because you don't hear nothing about Duke and having problems in the transfer portal and the only thing you hear about Duke is the one and dones. Duke has so many ones and dones.
That foundation that Mike Krzyzewski laid there, man, he did it. I don't know, I mean, you ain't never hear no scandals or nothing about Mike Krzyzewski at Duke or nothing like that, man. So he left it in good hands. It
right.
Like generation going to be,
Listen, Duke can win the football national championship three times in a row, and Duke will still be a basketball school. They'll still be basketball.
Carlos Boozer, his son, man, he doing his thing too. He tough. He got that dog.
Let me ask you a question before we get out of here. Do you think both should come out, or do you think the smallest one should stay another year?
I think he should stay. He need to do some more homework. I mean, he good though. I think he gonna make it in the league too though. But his brother though is definitely ready though.
Balling, So I ain't sleeping on Duke. That's it.
Yeah,
I ain't sleeping.
They're not twins though, are they?
No,
are they?
No. He does have a set of twins. He does have a set of twins.
Okay. You did?
Yeah.
How many kids he got?
Huh?
How many kids?
3 boys. He has 3 boys.
Boys, yeah.
Oh, okay. And one of the twins is at Duke?
Yeah, one of the twins is at Duke, and the other one is his oldest son.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think they're only like a year apart or something like that. 2 years apart or something like that. They're not that far apart.
Okay.
But both of them freshmen though.
Right.
Okay.
That's the key. That's the thing and that's the thing about the Duke program, man. I mean, they get these kids in there, and they coming in NBA ready. They getting them one and dones and gone. That's hard. That's hard to sustain a good program when you're getting kids that's coming in. But if you get them 4 or 5 star recruits coming in, they know they're getting that guaranteed TV and getting.
You got to know how to coach too, and recruit because your chemistry got to click immediately. You don't have guys 3 and 4 years where you got to develop them and stuff like that. So you got to know how to. You got to recruit guys that's going to fit your program, and then you got to hit the ground running. And there's almost no margin for error when in this. You don't get 4 or 5. I mean, 3 and 4 years with kids, man. Right. So, yeah.
That dude Gino ain't never happy, man. He ain't never happy.
Oriyama?
Yes.
Yeah.
He sit down at the press conference, they just win, and he want to talk about they ain't getting enough time on the court. Let me look at these stats. These teams shooting 4 for this, 4 for that, because we got to come talk to y'all. This dude ain't never happy, man.
That's probably why he went. I have an ulcer by now. If I, what I mean, if I was worried like that, but yeah, man, he always got a gripe.
Always got a gripe. He ain't my cup of tea, bro.
You know what? I like Pat Summitt. I was never Gino Oriyama fan, but I don't know how many. What he got, like 11, 12 championships?
Man, there's a lot. I don't know. Double digits.
At least I know it.
But let me ask you a question. Do you think he would be successful in the men's game?
Not like what he's doing with the women. No,
because them dudes ain't gonna be taking that from him as much as them girls do.
Yeah,
he like a father figure over those girls.
Yeah. I don't think he'll have that type of success. Nowhere near that type of success. UConn
Because I had always wondered why he didn't switch over to the men's game, because I mean he pretty much did everything that he could do in the women's game. I mean, what are you going to keep just winning more and more championships? I understand that, but you know,
Sue Bird and Diana said every time he get a freshman player that's a star, like when Sarah Strong came. So every time somebody come, he stay because he want to coach that player. So he just keeps going. He keeps going. You know. Next thing is going to be another one that come. You know. So
yeah. Let me my fault, Clay.
No, you good.
Yeah, Tom wanted to get this in. He said, I think it's just a statement. He said he wanted to read. You have an older brother and two twins. Save the type from the disease. One brother has sickle cell or something. He said,
yeah. Yeah, the older brother had sickle cell, and one of the twins saved his life.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
yeah,
dope.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
They actually they did a story on him before the tournament started.
Yeah,
they did a story on him.
Opening weekend.
Yeah, ESPN did one.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So the consensus is Arizona, huh?
Nope.
Yeah.
No. Consensus is go Duke, but fill my bracket out, Michigan. So I won't be as bad.
That's right, Michigan.
Yeah. My bracket is Michigan, but I want Duke to win.
I mean,
I'm a complicated. Everybody, I'm a complicated type of guy.
Yeah.
These have been great games, and I think the championship game, whoever's in there, I think Arizona is going to be in there, but I think it's going to be a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you a question. The last couple of years, did the final game in March Madness, did that end in April? I thought the whole thing about March Madness to have a start in March.
The championship is always the first week in April.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering because I'm like, damn, it's in April.
Yeah, but that tournament though, that's why Now, Tom says this, and I think to an extent, I think it's true that like women, like you, for some reason, you can coach the women harder than you can men, especially like the best. When you look at like the best college athletes, you could probably get on them more than you probably would be able to get on one of the male college athletes. It just seemed like the men are more entitled. It's like with the guy at Kansas, like with the kid at Kansas who they was talking about, he missing all this time and he checking out of games. Like you don't see that at the women's. Like you would never see any of the girls hit a jumper and then turn around to the coach and be like, "Get me out of here."
And hold up, the last time I saw something like that was Angel Reese with Maryland. That was the last time I saw that.
Oh, I ain't see that. I wasn't.
Remember, Angel Reese was the star at Maryland.
I remember.
And she left Maryland because she couldn't get along with him and go to LSU and become champion.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember she was at Maryland, but I didn't know that. She was like,
Yeah, she didn't like how they was running the thing. She didn't like how they was calling plays for. How she wasn't, that nail into everybody's coffin, and she left. And actually, I think did they go to the Final Four that year that they had Angel Reese?
Who, Maryland?
I know they went to at least the Sweet 16 with her.
I think so. Yeah, no, I don't think
because they lost because didn't they lose to LSU?
I don't remember that. I know they went to at least the Sweet 16 when I don't know if they lost to LSU.
Angel Reese is the only one that I've heard that was hard to coach and didn't like what was going on. And that's the purity of the women's game. You know what I'm saying? Women don't step up and be like, I'm more than the game. I know more than the coach. You know what I'm saying? They like they said, they're coachable and they're fun to watch now. The men's game is hard to watch unless you get into March Madness.
Angel left after 2 Sweet 16 losses with Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they did win a Big Ten championship though.
With Angel there?
Yeah, they won one Big Ten championship. But yeah, they got swept in the Sweet 16. That's right.
But it just saying to me like you can coach these girls harder than you can coach the boys.
I wouldn't say coach harder. I would say they're more willing to listen. and learn. Yeah. That's what I would. That's how I would consider the women's game. That, like I said, that's why it's so much more fun to watch for the entertainment of basketball.
Y'all think money is going to mess that up though? Because with money comes like more, like entitlement and stuff like that. So when the kids get more money, then they, then they seem to show out more. They have.
Has it been the case so far though?
Not well
that
with
money
the girls.
Good now.
In college, like with Juju.
Yeah. Because that money good now.
Yeah.
Actually, in some cases, the money is better than the pros.
For women.
The NIL money better than the pros.
Yeah, the NIL money for the women is better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think like money just brings out who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's who you are, then that's who you are, So I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be interesting. Yep. Well.
All right, folks. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate time. What's the other?
Terrence.
Yeah, Terrence. I appreciate time and Terrence, man, for contributing to another great show.
We had the Bronx Bonner.
Oh yeah.
What about Viking? Who's that? Viking J Mac. I like that name, Viking. I like that
name. Yeah. Appreciate
that.
Viking J Mac. I appreciate him. What time got it? He got something else for Clayton. Let me see.
What?
Say something profound. Money does. Oh yeah, he said he giving you your flowers, man. He said he knew you was gonna say something profound. Yeah.
Hey, that game recognized game. So he often says profound things as well in his own way.
I appreciate time input, man. Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's why I make a point to read his
And I love what he said last week about making his sons read. That was just dope.
Yeah,
that was dope. Yeah. Man.
All right, fella. Yeah, I'm gonna get some snacks, man, and check out these games, man. And
man, let me tell y'all. Speaking of snacks, real quick, man. I celebrate Larry last week. And I eat different. I don't do sugars and all that because sugar's my kryptonite. So we go back to my cousin's house. They got ice cream, cupcakes, cake. So I start eating ice cream. I eat cupcakes. I got 3 bowls. Throw the cupcake in the ice cream bowl. Then I come home. Wednesday, I go and I get a silk pie. I eat the whole pie. Then I ate chocolate chip cookies the next day. My left knee inflamed. My arthritis kicked up everything. So Friday, I jumped on a fast. Let me tell y'all something. Started fasting Friday. Today's Sunday, my knee back where it was. Don't sleep on a water fast. I'm telling you, your body will metabolize all that dysfunction. It'll burn it off for energy, man. But yeah, I was in so much pain. I couldn't stand up on my leg. I was feeling it, man. So guess what? I'm done. That was my last taking a chance with that stuff, man.
Hey, man. And once you fall off that wagon, you start eating that sugar again too, man. You
Boy,
be like, it's hell trying to get back right.
That refined sugar is wrong. But like I said, it did me a good service because my last fast, I didn't really fast as long as I wanted to. So it made me jump. I'm still actually in autophagy right now as we speak. I'm still in it right now. I don't know if I'm gonna come out yet, but man, I'm telling you, as soon as you said snacks, I said, man. But anyway, I don't want to hold y'all.
Yeah, all right, man.
Y'all have a good. What did he say?
Man, y'all take it easy.
All right, guys, take it easy now.
All right, man. All right, Jim. All right, Clay.
Have a good one.
Yeah, he's right. I'm not. All right, peace.